Somebody said to me in a Facebook, it's not your place to judge. I couldn't wait to get to my keyboard. Because we don't understand what judgment is. Judgment means to condemn someone to punishment or to condemn someone to eternal damnation. I'm not looking for punishment for Bishop Long. I'm not looking for eternal damnation for Bishop Long. I'm looking for the truth from Bishop Long. I'm looking for courage from Bishop Long. I'm looking for authenticity from Bishop Long. I understand the hell he's going through. It's not easy for your secret to get out, especially when you didn't put it out. Help me here, somebody. It's not easy to deal with your stuff being exposed in front of the whole world when you didn't intend for it to come out like that. It's so much better when you can do like I did, tell it for yourself and diffuse all of the other stuff that may happen. So I understand the struggle. I understand the pain. I understand what it means to hide, because I hid myself. For 55 years, I hid and was afraid to talk. I hid behind my son, Micah. When CNN came to do the story about the transition of our church, I never once told them about myself. I hid behind my son. I've hid behind my pulpit. I've hid behind my own fears. But as long as you stay in hiding, as long as you stay behind secrets, you will never get to the place of wholeness and wellness and appreciation and self-love for yourself. As long as you hide, you will never be honest to yourself or to the world. So I understand. I do understand. I understand what he could be going through with his family and his church. But that does not excuse him from the conduct that he has engaged in. When I looked in the face of that young man last night, I looked in my own face, who said that he cannot get the smell of his cologne. And let me tell you something, when someone has violated you, that violation, I wish I had a witness in here, somebody come. When somebody violates you, that violation stays with you for the rest of your life. I agree with Carlton Pearson, who said this is the hand of nature. But I want to put it a different way. It's the hand of God. It's the hand of the divine trying to correct the homophobic preaching from our pulpits. It's an open door opportunity for the black church to confront its issues and deal with human sexuality in a way that makes us whole and healthy. Something, somewhere in the life of an individual like this happened. Because when you have to have sex with multiple people, when you live with a conquering spirit, there's a reflection of your inability to have intimacy. When you can go from one person to the next, something happened somewhere in your childhood that left a psychic scar on your spirit that keeps you from having intimate relationships with people. So I'm saddened because this is not a case of judgment for his sexuality. This is a case of scrutinize his pathology. something psychological has happened in his head and in his brain when a 57-year-old man finds better company with a 14-year-old child than they do another 57-year-old man. It is a spiritual Michael Jackson. Something was wrong with Michael when he found more comfort with sleeping with 5-year-old boys. Something is wrong. It's a pathological, psychological issue there that we must recognize. I don't care how much you pray, how much you fast, how much you go to church, how much you claim you are anointed. If you don't deal with the issues that go on in your mind that cause you to do things that are adverse to humanity and to yourself, if you don't get some psychological help, you will only take your money and your wealth and your power and accentuate your issue. The money made it worse. The power made it worse. A preacher in Columbus, Georgia, 2 weeks ago was found out about a relationship with a young man that went sour. He got exposed to his congregation. The preacher barricaded himself in his brand new Cadillac that the church had bought him, pulled out a revolver, and blew his brains out. He wasn't on the news. Nobody reported the story. CNN was not there. The news world was not there. But it was a similar situation. None of us knew nothing about it. It circulated among the preachers. Because another pastor called me, William, to tell me what had happened. And yet this behavior in the pulpit happens all over the world all of the time. And we sit in silence in our churches and say nothing about it. We preachers must be held accountable. I said we must be held accountable. We are not God. We need to stop pretending like we're some form of deity and be put up in reverence like we are unreproachable. Because power corrupts, and absolute power absolutely corrupts. And we get to the place where we believe that we are beyond reproach until God gets fed up with our behavior and then pulls the cover off so that we can see the reality of who we really are in the pulpit. And then when God pulls it off, that's the time when we need to deal with it. I'm concerned that even now there are still no mechanisms in place for his accountability. Because if there were mechanisms in place for accountability, his statement would have been different. Don't leave him by himself. Don't let him go around other little boys. Make sure he's accountable to his family and his church. Help him. Don't leave him in the same shape that he was in prior to the offense or the accusations. Help him to come out of what he is in. Help him, but you don't help him when you don't say nothing and when you don't make him accountable and when you don't confront him. Somebody needs to ask him, tell me the truth. And so it is a time when our minds must be healed and must deal with it appropriately and not run from it and not sweep it under the rug, and come to understand that just because you're called to preach does not cancel your sexuality. May I say that again? Just because you're called to preach and you are anointed by God, it does not cancel your sexual appetite. Matter of fact, for some of us, it gets a little harder and a little stronger. Amen, somebody. Because we are blessed with the capacity to be compassionate towards all people. And sometimes that compassion transcends into other passion. And we who are in the pulpit struggle with keeping our passion and compassion under control. And sometimes the pew don't help it. Sometimes the pew encourages it by coming with tempting opportunities. Because you see your leader not as a spiritual person, but as a sex object. And when the opportunity presents itself and the door opens for that, then something deviant begins to happen. We need your prayers. All right.